Hello friends, and welcome to a new segment that I'm hoping to implement pretty regularly of comic book news. I have a ton of stuff to go over, and I'm hoping to do this at least once a month, but we got a ton of stuff, so let's delve in. First up, I'm just going to go over the TLDR of the CGC scandal because there has been an update. So if you have been living a little bit under a rock or don't really care about slabs, CGC is the largest grading collectible service in the world. Unfortunately, there was a scandal recently about tampering with books. Every slab comes with a certain number at the top, and it is individual for each comic book. So every time you look up that book, it should lead exactly to that one specific comic book. So if you have your Incredible Hulk 181 at a 9.8 or whatever, it will lead you to your specific copy. People were finding out that the certain numbers were not directing people exactly to that book, which is a big no-no. And so they found out that people were replacing books on the inside that didn't exactly match the cert number. It seemed like this was entirely caused by people resubmitting books, which was a service that they previously allowed. So basically, if you send out your Batman 100 and it comes back as 6.0, but you have a worse copy, you're gonna kind of put your 4.0 in there, send it out, and hope that they just re-slab it completely as a 6.0, and you just have a false 6.0. That's just the Spark Notes. It's been going on for a while, but CGC actually came out with a statement recently. Through an investigation, it was discovered that this was an inside job. CGC has made public statements on their Instagram and other social media platforms. They have filed suits against 2 former employees, and they were actually a married couple. It was a comic grader and a receiving clerk, and they began stealing customer books. They would submit books that customers had submitted under their own names. So far, CGC has tallied the total of books that they had stolen and sold on eBay and Comic Link to over $27,000. The suit currently charges the couple with trademark infringement, trademark counterfeiting, false designation of origin, and unfair competition, and the list goes on a little bit. But in other CGC news, on a slightly brighter note, they have just announced that they are going to start slabbing pulps, which is really exciting because they are kind of a lost art, and it's something that has really inspired a lot of things involving the comic book industry. Plus, they have beautiful covers, and the way they're made, they aren't always meant to stand the test of time, so it's beautiful to be able to have pulps on display. I personally adore pulps. CGC is also, for the first time, going to allow people to submit without having a membership. As someone who is a dealer and has had a membership for years, I kind of have mixed feelings on this, but evidently they will be giving other perks to people who are already members. Who knows if it's even going to be worth it in the future, though. In other scandal news, if you follow a lot of comic artists on Instagram, you've probably noticed a lot of posts that look like this. Caden's comic art has been having artists dropping like flies. This is what their artist section used to look like, and this is what it looks like as of filming. They've lost almost every artist that they had, and a lot of people who've been seeing these posts start to wonder why. Digging into this, a lot of the posts mention something about unfulfilled orders, and apparently that has been the case for a lot of customers. So far, it seems like no artists are really talking about this, being very professional and almost having very canned responses, but it turns out that people are just not getting the art they've ordered. I've been seeing countless people on Reddit, Instagram, Facebook just saying that they have ordered art from artists and usually paid and have received nothing for months. It looks like either a new artist rep is going to have to come out of the works, or a lot of other places are going to have to find home for these artists, and they are some of my favorite artists working in the industry currently. Now, this last week saw another installment of the Ultimate Universe that people are very excited for after Ultimate Spider-Man has been blowing people away. But Ultimate Black Panther was supposed to come out this last week. If maybe your shop was a little shorted, I know mine unfortunately very much was, apparently, Penguin Random House has lost thousands of copies of Ultimate Black Panther #1. This has made many comic shops face allocations for this very popular book. It has already made it go to a second print, and they have no other news. I don't know how this happens, but it is such a shame that this seems to be one of the first times that people have been really excited about a Black Panther title. I know as someone who orders comics from my shop, even if it is critically acclaimed, the single issues typically just don't sell very well, and this was the first time in a very long time that my customers were really asking about a Black Panther title. But then we only got less than 15% of the copies that we ordered. Thankfully, we had exactly enough to fulfill our orders, but that was it. That's only the people who pre-ordered quite a bit in advance, people who were asking for it day of. We had nothing to give them. I do really hope the second copy comes out quickly because I know a lot of people were really just excited to read this book, but unfortunately this is definitely going to be a harder one to find on shelves right now, so good luck if you're looking for it. I'm sure this is going to be one that's going to go for a few extra dollars online. This next one is a little surprising to me, honestly, but Rob Liefeld is retiring from Deadpool. I wasn't sure I would ever see that day happening, honestly, but this is what he had to say on it. He posted this to X, formerly Twitter, on February 4th. I am retiring from Deadpool. It's official. Yup, after 33 years of not only introducing Deadpool, but chronicling many of his most popular adventures, it's time for the Deadpool Daddy to say farewell. One of the fun parts of getting older is you can retire from things, so here I am. So I worked up one last crazy Deadpool yarn for the fine folks at Marvel, and they responded with eloquently, and I started producing it last month for release September 2024. I often wonder what my life would be like if I had not created and sold not just Deadpool, but Cable, Domino, Strife, and many others to Marvel. What if young Rob hadn't taken up the challenge of transforming a title that was headed toward cancellation is one of the better alternate universe tales. It certainly transformed my young career, creating opportunities and record-breaking sales for New Mutants and X-Force. Creating and introducing the Deadpool core, featuring Lady Deadpool and Dogpool, was a great function of my midlife crisis during 2009. In 2015, I started Deadpool Bad Blood, getting Deadpool his first original graphic novel, and his only chart-topping #1 ranking to date, an achievement that got me a round of congratulations from Marvel brass that pumped my chest out farther than Captain America's. No other auteur has combined to create and illustrate more Deadpool work. I'll complete this journey with over 1,000 pages alongside my mercenary misfit. So I'll finish this one last Deadpool story, and trust me, it's a wild one, and call it a collaboration for the ages. It'll be fun. In case you were wondering, why now? That's easy. I'll be 57 at the end of this, and my eyes are still functioning. The work continues to be strong. I want to go out with the best effort I can muster. The hand-eye coordination won't be there forever. I'll elaborate more on this on my next Robservations podcast, and look forward to taking this journey with you, the world's greatest fans, who have always provided the best support a cartoonist could ever imagine. And that is saying something. I gotta say, I do respect him for going out while he's, in what he's considering to be one of his primes. Like, you want something to end strong, so I have a lot of respect for that. I also had no idea he had a podcast. I bet that is a wild time. If you listen to that, please let me know below how that is. People are more excited about Deadpool now than they have been in a long time, since the new movie is slated to drop in July, which will be featuring Hugh Jackman, and there's speculation that even Taylor Swift will be joining the cast. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, Bilquis Everly, and Matias Lopez has a movie coming out, and they have just received what I consider to be very exciting casting developments. Millie Alcock is currently slated to appear as Supergirl, and I think she's going to do a phenomenal job. You may recognize her from the Max show House of the Dragon. This will be a DC movie led by James Gunn, and it's one I am very excited for. I do have a lot of faith in James Gunn, and this is a book I adore. Speaking of books I adore, there are a few titles right now that are seeing significant resale values, and it's purely for the book that's on the inside, which is so delightful to see. People are paying dollars for these books because they want to read it, because they have faith in it, because it is just so good. Currently, Avengers Twilight, Ultimate Spider-Man, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees are seeing significant gains just based on the story on the inside, which is fantastic to see. As someone who likes to read their comics, this makes me very happy. Lastly, one of the biggest shows in North America is MegaCon down in Orlando. The variants from the show have now hit the internet, and everyone is selling theirs. The breakout is definitely disputed territory #1. The MegaCon exclusive variant is by Miko Sayan, and it features the crow on the cover. This book alone is currently going for over $200. This was limited to 250 copies. It was sold in a set of 12 MegaCon exclusive variants for $280, which comes out to less than $25 per book, or they set aside 50 of those copies to be available for $50. So anyone who managed to nab one of those is doing pretty well right now. There were a ton of MegaCon exclusives. I managed to grab a few, but that one is certainly the one that the market is the most interested in. If you ever have any news that you want me to talk about, you can send it down to my email down below in the description. If you are the one who clues me into anything, I will absolutely credit you. Unless you would prefer to be anonymous, you just let me know. I would like to do these regularly. I'm hoping to do them at least once a month, if not every other week. It does kind of depend on the climate and what's going on, but honestly, I feel like there's always exciting things to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out my Instagram, my TikTok, my threads. I'm pretty active on all of those platforms, and I will try to get back to anyone who wants to chat with me. And please share your thoughts below on some of the craziness that has been happening. I'm trying to keep these brief. I would like to keep these coming out at around 20 minutes or less. I appreciate you so much for watching. It's really fun to try all these new things, and I'm really excited to delve more into this stuff. I think I have a setup where I will be able to make videos more often, and I'm really excited about that. And I would not be able to do that without all of your guys' support. So I appreciate you. And if you want to keep up with stuff that is coming out pretty regularly, please hit the subscribe button so you'll always know when I have more videos coming out. Alright, thank you friends. Bye guys!